started this morning by turning on the recording so that you can re-watch this on the GAE-Retired YouTube channel. For those of you who haven't been here before, my name is Karen Solheim, and I'm the GAE-Retired Secretary at this point in time, and welcome to the August Lunch Bunch. I'm really excited about having GAE President Lisa Morgan with us. Lisa is the first president in GAE's history to begin serving the first year of her third two-year term. So I'm pretty sure I said that correctly. And Lisa's going to just share with us anything that is on her heart and mind, because it's always nice to hear what the GAE president is thinking about this upcoming year. And Lisa, how do you want to handle questions? Do you want people to hold them till you pause and take a breath, or what's going to be the best for you?
Karen, that's fine if they want to raise their hand if they have a question. I'm good with that. And I'm gonna let you all know ahead of time. I may have to look down at my phone a couple of times because that's the way things are going this morning. And that's pretty usual for me.
Well, before Lisa starts, I'll just say that for those of you who don't know Lisa, she has worked her way up through the ranks of GAE, serving as GAE Secretary Treasurer, GAE Vice President. I find Lisa Morgan to be one of the hardest working people that I know, and she really believes in GAE being a member-driven organization. And I've watched through the 4 years of the previous 4 years of her presidency empowering members. So Lisa, no pressure in terms of going through and speaking to us. We're a friendly group. And again, this meeting is open to all GAE members, and we'll go through and we will stop by 12:30. That's one of the things we pride ourselves on and the lunch bunch is starting and stopping on time. And I'll do a few announcements before that 12:30 mark. And I would be remiss, and I really will stop talking because I'm not this voracious in speech, but Dr. Craig Carter has joined us, and his video is on, and his hair is gorgeous this morning. Dr. Craig Carter is the GAE Executive Director. So we have two great people here, and Lisa, take it away.
Okay, well, here's what I'm going to do, Karen, because I'm going to let Dr. Carter, if he's jumping on, I'm sure he's wanting to greet you all, and I'm going to let him do that because I know what his day's like, so he can do that quickly, and then we'll jump in on my little list of notes here. So, Dr. Carter.
Thank you, Madam President. Good morning, GAE Retired, and thank you, Karen. It's good to hear your voice this morning. I'm just want to thank you all. We've been very busy. I say we, including President Morgan and Tammy Bozell, our Director of Field Services, our UniServe manager in the field for the past month. Hopefully, if you've been looking at social media, you've been following GAE, Team GAE, all across the state, from the north to the metro to the far south. I was so surprised. I got to spend a great deal of time in Effingham and Glenn County, St. Simon Island as well. And I was so surprised we were so close to Jacksonville, Florida there. So I was surprised signing up so many new members and they had Florida addresses. And then when I learned it was so close, I had a aha Kentucky moment there. But it was such a great month of GAE out there. I know President Morgan including myself, we've been exhausted this past weekend because we finally concluded our NTO, New Teacher Orientation Tour. I want to thank you all for also assisting with that. We had some monumental numbers coming in. One week, close to 1,000 new members. Another week, 600 and something new members. Another week, 500 and something new members. So that, including our early enrollment numbers, it is already pushing us toward our 2,700. As a matter of fact, Lisa and I were dissecting those numbers this weekend, and we are already up from where we were this time last year. And that's really, really exciting. I looked at NEA Civis report yesterday. I was snooping on it to see where we were at. Georgia Association of Educators is #1 in the nation for early enrollment, and we are now beating Michigan, which is really exciting because we know Michigan is such a collective bargaining state, right? And we are not, but that lets us know the momentum of what's occurring at GAE and us advocating on behalf of our members and becoming the preeminent voice for quality public education in Georgia. So thank you, GAE-Retired, for being a part of that. We're not stopping. Actually, at the end of this month, August, we have our first blitzes that are beginning. The first blitzes are going to occur in Walker County as well as Gwinnett County. If any of you would like to assist with those blitzes, please, please let your president know and get that information to President Morgan, or you can send it to me. And we would love to have you all come assist in those schools to talk to those potential members, why it's important to be a member of the Georgia Association of Educators. And we're going to continue to keep Georgia #1 in the nation for membership recruitment. And we would love for our GAE-Retired to be a part of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig, for being here.
Yeah, thank you. And so I knew that was what he was going to talk about, but that's what he was. And Karen, do I have rights to share?
You do not, but I'm going to make that happen.
Okay. So and what I have is the number that we did after I don't have the Civis access. So my number is a little bit smaller than Dr. Carter's right now. But what I want to show you all, and this is based on our GAE new to local report. And so 2019, 2020, I don't have the September 1st number for that year. But during that year, we had 1,220 new members for the year. Then 2020, 2021, we all know that was our pandemic year. And we had 362 new members September 1st, and then 875 for the year. And then 21, 22, that was Dr. Carter came in May of 2021. And so that year we had 823 by September 1st. And that was our stabilization year. We ended the year with 16,717. That was kind of like, okay, let's see where we are. We stabilized that year. And for the full year, we had 1,646 new. Then 22, 23, we went all out once again for our new teacher orientations, and we had 1,571 new by September 1st and 3,522. And that's when we grew again. So our end of the year total membership that year for active members was 18,013. And then for the 23-24 membership year, which ends August 31st, September 21st, we had 2,382 new to the local. And for the full year, as of right now, we have 3,611, and our active membership is 21,233. So And then the number I had as of last Friday, before some other stuff came in, we had 2,462 new to the local. So um, we are continuing to have those new members by September 1st, and then we can continue that growth in our active membership. The other
Lisa,
thing,
Lisa, does new to local mean that they've never been a GAE member before?
no, it
Okay,
means they are new to that particular local. So those people that we sometimes worry that we're going to lose, I'm going to stop saying those people that we sometimes worry that we're going to lose as members, because I'll give you a metro example. Happens all the time that we have members who are in DeKalb or Gwinnett or Atlanta or Fulton or Clayton, and they leave DeKalb and go to Clayton. They leave Gwinnett and go to Fulton. Um, and we worry that we're going to lose those members. So if they are a GAE member and they go to a new local, then they count in that number. And the other group that we are getting back that may be reflecting in the numbers Dr. Carter has is if they don't count in that number, though, if, for example, they've been a member in Gwinnett, they left and they come back to Gwinnett, then they're not new to the local because they've been in the local before. But that new to the local number is how we're really able to track the growth. And Karen mentioned earlier, have been I tell the story about how I became the AR at my school in DeKalb. And the one constant that I have heard from every executive director that has been the executive director since I first came on the board in 2010 is, in order to grow, the magic number is 3,000. That we have to recruit 3,000 members every year in order to increase our membership. And so you can see by our data, when we reached that 3,000, that's when we started growing again. So very excited that we continue to see that membership growth. One of the things I'm also very excited about, we have had our board retreat for the 24-25 board. We had that in June. And one of the things that I'm really going to be asking the board and the board membership committee to work on is that they work on us having a strategic membership plan that is in black and white, that is approved by the board and approved by the representative assembly. So as we move forward, not just the next 2 years, but the next 5 years, the next 10 years, that we continue to do what we need to do to ensure that we are looking at our membership. I saw that Patrick said Alabama has much more members. They do. And the reality is we have to keep growing. We have to keep moving toward that place because the numbers are, it says something. And as we continue to grow, I look at, and I've said this to some other members, one of the things that I hear all the time from members is, well, we need collective bargaining, we need collective bargaining, we need collective bargaining. And I actually had some members get upset with me when I said, Brian Kemp can fall and bump his head tomorrow and sign a collective bargaining law, and nothing will change for our members. And the reason nothing will change for our members is because we aren't ready for a collective bargaining law. We do not have, other than perhaps one district, a district that has the membership density to be able to take advantage of a collective bargaining law. So we would have to have 50% plus one employees who would vote for GAE to be their representative. So that's why we have to continue to move that forward. So somebody asked if retired are included in our total. They are not included in these numbers I've given you. These are the active numbers. And our total membership. So we were at 21,233 active. We have a little over 3,000 aspiring educator members. We have 3,000 retired members, and about 100 other. So now when someone asks me how many members we have, I am able to say we have 27,000. So somebody said, I don't think people would want collective bargaining. I know people want collective bargaining. The issue is we have to have the membership to take advantage of the collective bargaining. We have to do our part first, and we have to be ready, having our members in place, having the membership that's over 50% of the members in a district. We have to have the structures in place so that we are ready to be there. And what I would say, Fairfax did it with another association. So we have to learn the lesson from Virginia. Virginia got their collective bargaining law in 2020, and they are just now getting locals to be recognized. We have to be ahead of that if we want it to happen. And what that means is we have to do the organizing work and we have to do the membership work before the law. So when the law happens, our locals are ready to say, we're ready to have an election. We're ready to be certified. We're ready to be the representative. And that is what we're going to have to do, working toward that. And we have to understand that that is what, and that's what has to happen. We can't just say, we want collective bargaining and not do the work to be ready for it. It's one of those things we really have to be ready. So the membership. So I'm gonna tell y'all a couple of things about my 3 buckets, and then Linda, I see your head. I've always said that I have 3 buckets of work that I'm working on. And number one's membership. Our first number one goal was to get back above that 20,000 active to regain our second seat on the NEA Board of Directors. And we did that this past year. We are the only state who has lost a seat on the NEA board and gained it back. There was another state that was close, and they got over the 20,000 and then they fell back below. So we remain the only state who has fallen below 20,000 members, lost seat on the NEA board, and pulled it back up. Structure. That's one of the things we've worked very hard to get everything in place and get the structure there. And then advocacy. So one of the things that I've been telling people, we never know where the issues are coming from. And I never know when the issues are going to pop up. Did not expect the AP African American Studies issue to pop up in the middle of back to school, but it did. And so that's one of those things that is continuing. And if Kevin's going to be texting me back in a few minutes because it is continuing to develop. The thing I'm going to let you all know as members, I have spoken out on this issue, and we are working with our legislators to solve not only the direct issue, but to solve the underlying issues. And so the problem is, and let's just be blunt, we continue to have and will continue to have a Republican legislature and a Republican governor. And no matter what happens in election 2024, I'm going to talk about that in a minute, we are going to continue to have a Republican majority in the legislature. We know that. The redistricting that happened last year, yes, there were seats, additional seats that were added that should flip that seat to a Democratic seat. But the other piece that was not looked at really carefully was the fact that the way they drew the districts was to protect incumbents. So no matter if you were a Republican or a Democrat, when they redo the districts, they made more of the districts safe seats. So 2 years ago, I would have said we were 4 to 6 years from flipping the legislature. After that redistricting, we're back to 8 to 10 years in flipping the legislature. So we know what we have. But we also know that we are 2 to 3 seats away from having a pro-public education legislature, because we continue to have Republicans who will support public education. We know we have 7 Republicans in the House who will vote to support public education, even when they are voting against what their party is telling them to do. So those are the races that we are keying on, and we are keying on those places where we can have someone who is going to support public education. So we can have that public education majority and deal with some of these issues. One of the things that a lot of people are not aware of, and I'm back on waivers, and Dr. Carter didn't say this, but I made one school district very angry this summer when I talked about waivers and why it was important that members understand their district has waivers and how it can impact them in their classroom. And I also talked about GPOF and the fact that this district didn't pay Social Security. And the district administration got very upset with me that I told their employees the truth about that. So the State Board of Education in June, I believe, no, July. In July, has approved new waiver contracts for all of the waiver districts. They do not have all of these posted, searchable, easy for you to find yet. And when they get that, we'll obviously be sharing that with everyone. But we have to go through those. We've talked about the fact that due to charter districts, they do not have fair dismissal in those charter districts. And we've talked about the districts that had waived fair dismissal. Some of those districts that had previously waived fair dismissal have not done so in their renewals. Some of the districts that had previously waived health and PE did not waive that in this second round. But then we've also got to look through, and we have some who have now waived other things that are very concerning. One of the districts I was in that I looked up, yes, I was talking about your waiver district. One of those districts has waived the state rules about media specialists and media materials. Their reasoning and why they have waived it is basically they are not going to allow the media specialists in the district to be the ones who purchase media materials. So they are saying, and we're sitting here, if you've been in a school building, you know this. They are saying they are going to have the principals be the ones to choose the materials. Okay, so let's just skip over the fact that the principals aren't media specialists, aren't trained in selecting materials, may not be, may have been a math teacher and literature and books aren't what they're concerned. Principals don't need that added to their plate. They already have everything else on their plate. So those are the kinds of things that are going to have direct impact in the classroom in our schools that we're going to have to continue raising up. And even though we have been talking about this, we still, when we talk about this at the Capitol, we still have legislators who look at us and say, no, that's not happening. And we're like, yes, it is. So the things that are on our legislative priorities are going to continue to be our priorities, but we're going to have to work on some of these things. And one of the things I keep saying about waivers over and over and over and over, and I hope everybody will begin to think about, as long as we have the waiver system in place, we cannot really get any legislation beneficial to educators and know that it's going to happen. For example, we got guaranteed planning time passed. We have districts who have waived that law. And we have districts who added it to their waivers this time. And because the way it's set up, They had no public comment. They had no discussion about what waivers they were adding. And educators won't know that they've waived it until that educator goes to the principal and says, hey, I know there's this law that I'm supposed to get my planning time, and I didn't get my planning time at all this week. How am I going to get my planning time? And they're going to say, well, the district waived that. So no, you really aren't entitled to your plan. So that's one of those things moving forward. And until we have a public education majority at the Capitol, we're not going to be able to fix some of this. And until we get some of the other education organizations willing to speak up on these issues, it's going to continue to be very hard. We are going it alone on these issues. The other organizations either have no presence at
Can't hear you, Lisa. Can't hear you. But you're not muted
Okay, can you hear me now?
now. Yeah.
No. Lisa,
No,
you got
can't
silent
hear-
again.
Yeah, we can't hear you again. Lisa, we can't hear you. Can't hear you.
She went off.
Administrators.
She's frozen.
Okay, let me.
There. Okay, no.
Yeah, Lisa, turn off your picture for a minute.
Yeah. That's been happening to Zoom. It's going through some new iterations.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm back. Okay. So, yes.
Lisa, you're soundless.
Yeah.
To talk about real quickly, and then I'll answer the questions. Uh,
Your audio is cutting in and out, and it's out right now. And
Yeah.
yeah, turn your picture off.
to revive them. And we have some throughout the state. The ones that we've
Can't hear you. She might have to go out and come back in.
officers.
Lisa, we couldn't hear any of that.
Okay, I'm sorry, and I just got a message.
No, we can't hear you.
Technology is not our friend sometimes. Try
Yeah,
now. Lisa.
that's true. Try
Okay.
now. There we go.
Okay, so we are still working with our locals, and those locals that we are trying to assist them with reorganizing throughout the state. And we do have that priority list and working to help them reestablish themselves. And the one thing I will say about that is we can't tell a local, you need to do this. It is, we work with the members in the local, and their assigned UNICEF director to try to assist them. But, we had in June, I worked with the UNICEF director. She held an all-member meeting. Thought we had a couple of people who wanted to step forward, and we were going to have officer elections and begin to get that local reorganized. And when we got to the meeting, it was myself and the UNICEF director. So it's back to the drawing board for that local. On the other hand, we have locals like Alton. I'm so excited about Houston County. Had 2 members attend the
We lost your sound again. We lost your sound again, Lisa.
at a meeting, and that local's now moving forward. They had delegates at the NEA, and I actually got an invitation. They're having their first meeting for this school year next Saturday. So that's the thing about the locals, that we can help them, we can assist them, and I'll do everything I can, but the state can't tell them what they have to do. So questions, Linda?
Good morning. Well, it's afternoon, a minute after afternoon. Good
Yeah.
morning. And I wanna be blunt. And going back to the issue of collective bargaining.
Mhm.
This is the same gold dome that we used to face in the day, and we still had a collective bargaining agenda. The point is, when you're striving for freedom, you don't wait for the master to say, I got a key, I'm gonna open the door. I do not believe that our inactive posture to not let the new members that are coming from states who have collective bargaining get a sense that we're heading toward collective bargaining. And it is my opinion that more money from GAE need to be placed into educating about what is collective bargaining, because a lot of us don't know, and then maybe that would give us something else to fight for. We need energy to show more than what happens in the classroom. I'm upset that after giving, and I won't be much longer, after giving Richard Woods this our favorite friend thingy, and then he come up with these excuses as to how it happened. And of course, I've read your statement to him, but I think we need to be more bold in dealing with these legislators, because when I hear you say, you know how long it's gonna take for us to get that, and Dr. King would say, how long? Not long, because the art of justice being towards what's right. So I'm just saying GAE need to do better about our messaging, about what it is we tolerate and what we don't tolerate, because we're just waiting on you, Lisa. Waiting on you to walk through the door at the look, and I'm done after this. I'm done after this one. But all I'm saying is we should not take it laying down that they're going to step on history, not just Black history, everybody's history, because when you fail to educate, you fail to educate. So I'm just saying, you have these 2 years left, Lisa, and I'm looking for something from the GAE board and its leadership to do something about a bold statement to the state legislature that we're not waiting on Republicans to all of a sudden get not elected back to office or get elected to office. There's a lot of advocacy that should be done, that could be done. It's just that the board and its leadership needs to sit down and figure out how can we make our presence known more than we need to recruit more members. And that's what people are thinking. And that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing.
Okay, so Linda, what I wanted you to hear is that we have to work on ourselves and our members as we're moving toward what we want outside. And that's what I'm saying, that we have to fix our own house, we have to educate our members. We have to help them to understand what these things mean as we're working toward.
And it's in your hands. It's in your hands,
Yeah.
Lisa, and that's what I'm expecting. I've been knowing you since a child. I looked at my records. I've been in this organization 46 years. And I'm ready for us to get back to that fire so they would know GAE is in the house and not just the president is in the house.
Right.
We've got to make our presence and our face known. It's not shown in the streets. It might be on our little communications, but in the streets, they want to know, what are we doing? So we got to show them, and I don't think we are. And that's just my opinion. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I got to go.
Okay. Deborah?
Oh, I think Judy was ahead
Lisa,
of Deborah.
I'm on the same lines. I'm sorry.
I think Judy's been,
Okay, I'm sorry. She popped up before me on mine first. I'm sorry.
well, I just have said, Judy, I'm gonna call on you as kind of moderator, and Deborah, if you
Okay.
can hold, that would be great. Judy, Polachek, please unmute and speak, and if not, I'll return to Deborah Jones. Okay, Deborah Jones, you're on.
Okay, so Lisa,
Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh,
I'm gonna piggyback on, hopefully you can hear
hang
me,
on.
on what Linda is saying. I think the people in Georgia are ready for collective bargaining. Yes, there's work that has to be done. No, that work will not be done overnight, but we have to start somewhere. We have to start sometime. And if we look at what you said recently was like, it's gonna be 10 years. Well, where are you gonna be in 10 years? I know where I'm going to be in 10 years, but something has to happen now. We can't continue to go on and on and on and talk about what's going down. We understand what's going on down there. But we, as this union, we have to pick up ourselves and we need to talk to our members to let them know what could happen. When we say, well, they just waived it and they just did this. No, what are we doing? And that's our job. That's our job to do something. We can't wait. The time is now. We cannot wait.
And I understand that. And that's why we have been working. That's why we are now back to the point where the media and legislators are calling us. And it's a process. That's the thing I don't think everyone understands. We are rebuilding our organization. Okay.
So Lisa, are you saying since we're rebuilding that we can't do anything else? Is that what you're
No,
saying?
that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is we are rebuilding and we have to build that back up, and we have to get our members involved to do that rebuilding. Okay. We look at Day at the Capitol. Okay. 4 years ago, we have a picture with 50 people at the Day at the Capitol. Okay. We now have members. We have built so that Day at the Capitol, we're outgrowing the rooms and our members are coming to do that. So the next step is, how do we turn that Day at the Capitol energy where I'm going to Day at the Capitol, I learn a lot. How do we turn that energy into the next action? And once again, it's not going to happen overnight, and it's about building that in our members. And it's about having the relationships and the organizing and having that person in the building that I, as the state president, can say to the local presidents, we need you to be there. How many people from your local will come? And then knowing that if we say we're going to do this, people are going to come. And it's also being strategic about it. I will let you all know that there is a state House Education Committee meeting tomorrow about these issues. And the legislators, we will be there. But it sounds like, from my conversations with the legislators and what I know right now, I'm waiting on the information back from Representative Wilkerson, who I'm working with on this. He says it's going to be tomorrow at 9. That's all he's given me so far. I have not. Next on my list, when I finish this, is reaching back out to him to get more information. But it sounds like, from my discussions with them, that once again, we will be the only ones there. So that's the thing we have to understand. We have to get there. And a strategic plan, that's what we're working on this year on the board, to have that strategic plan in place. It's not going to be it's not something that's going to be like, it's going to be a plan. It's going to be, this is where we want to be 10 years from now, and how are we going to get there? And part of that is,
Lisa, you went out again.
This is Judy.
Hold on, Judy, please. Lisa, you're out again.
still
Okay.
crawling out of the, sorry, y'all. Okay, am I back?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we still have quite a few of our members who are still under the model that they joined for insurance, and if they have a problem and they want GAE to fix it, and they do not understand that they are GAE. Judy.
Yes. And I apologize. I have an appointment for a hearing at Social Security. That's why I'm trying to get my 2 cents in. First of all, much as people don't want to hear it, unless and until we vote out all of the Republicans in our state Congress, we will not get anywhere. They have control of everything that's happening. They have control of putting in election laws that make it so that they can change our decisions. I mean, we have to be realistic about this. They are allowing book banning. They are allowing all of these things that are terrible for public education. And nobody wants to hear people say it, but until, and this is across the country, until we can get rid of the Republicans in the state Congresses, nothing is going to change. Absolutely nothing.
Judy, is there a question in there for Lisa?
No, and I have to leave.
Thank you
So-
for being here today.
Thank
It's
you,
always
Judy.
good to hear your voice.
Okay, so I want to share something with y'all. I just received this email from the Georgia Department of Education, statement from Superintendent Woods. So bottom line, he said the sponsor of the legislation, which is Representative Will Wade, shared with his office a response letter he received from the Attorney General's office, It has been determined that this law shall not restrict local school systems from adopting any AP, IB, or dual enrollment course. Thus, any course developed by its controlling entity will be automatically adopted within the state-approved course catalog. It will not have to receive a recommendation from either the state school superintendent or the Georgia Board of Education. And in compliance with this opinion, the AP African American Studies course will be added to the state-funded course catalog effective immediately. So, and then they're going to put a disclaimer. So that is the where we are. So once again, we'll be reaching back out to our legislators because this obviously changes things and is what we wanted for this particular course, but it does not change the fact that we still need to deal with other courses and ensure that this doesn't happen for those other courses. Patrick.
Yep.
Thank you.
And Patrick, do you have a question?
I do have a question. Thank you.
Okay.
I just want to say, as president retired, I will be engaging our members, especially rapid response teams. And I'm trying to find ways. And so this is the question for Lisa. How can we engage the retirees with each of the locals around the state so that we can get this information that we know we have experienced out to the members? How can a retired help you? You're silent.
Lisa, it's still soundless. You're still soundless. Turn off your picture a second.
Yeah. Okay. We back?
We're
Yeah.
back.
Okay. I go soundless and then it tells me I'm unstable. And then when that goes off. So Patrick, we will be reaching out to you all. And you know, that's the thing. I always reach out to the retired in the areas when we are going in to ask those locals. And we have someone who say, will students receive full credit? Yes, now they will receive the full credit. It's going to eliminate all the concerns that we had. I will tell you what I do when things like this happen. I always reach out to our members. And so when Representative Wilkerson told me, when he and I started talking about this, the first thing I did was I sent a text message. We have right now on our GAE board, we have 3 members who I know teach high school social studies. We have a member who taught the AP African American Studies course last year, and I spoke with him when this first started. And so his number's in my phone. And then our legislative chair, who's just finished being legislative chair, is also a high school social studies teacher. So the first thing I did was I reached out to all those high school social studies teachers and I said, I need to know from you, what are your concerns? How's this going to impact what's happening in the schools? Send me the list. And that's where the issues that I've been bringing up about the credit and have learned through this that GPAs are calculated by lots of different entities, that the Hope Scholarship GPAs are calculated by the Georgia Student Finance Commission. The Department of Education separately calculates high school GPAs. You know, so there is a lot going on there. But I always reach out to our members because I'm a kindergarten teacher. I don't know how these things impact. And so that's always, our members are my first step to learn from our members. What's this going to look like in your classroom? And there's where we pull all this. So yes, because it is being added, students should receive full credit no matter where it's from, no matter who's calculating the credit on their GPA. They should now receive full credit for graduation, and the districts should receive the full state funding for the course. This will mean moving forward, any other AP course that is developed will automatically become part of the state approved courses. So that also means, I know there are lots of other AP courses that maybe districts haven't offered before. This opens up the full AP catalog to all of our students. That's the first thing. Now, what else is going to mean? Once again, I'm going to be reaching out to those high school teachers who are in the high schools. What does this mean for you and your students? We have just a couple of minutes, so I want to end on, I do want to talk real quick about the election. And I'm just simply going to say, I encourage you, if you have not done so, to Google Project 2025. You can download the entire document. It's 919 pages. You can download just the education section. And I'm going to say, we literally, in this election, have a choice between a ticket that, no matter how much they try to back away from this, plan to eliminate public education. And that is the plan. The thing I've not heard people talking about that is in Project 2025 is to eliminate federal funding for special education. To eliminate IDEA funding over a 10-year period. On the other hand, we have a ticket that will support public education, and in fact includes, as our candidate for vice president, a public school educator. So I'm encouraging people to look at that, and then you're going to get depressed and scared. And then I encourage you to go to the NEA website and put in Vice President Harris' name, and I can send those links to Karen and Tony and Patrick if they want to send them out to you. I encourage you, the first thing I went back and looked at when President Biden withdrew, in 2019, we were at the RA in Houston, and at that point there were 10 candidates for the Democratic nomination, and Vice President Harris was one of them. So there's like a 10-minute clip with 4 questions from members. Vice President Harris addressed the NEA Representative Assembly in 2022 in Chicago. And I encourage you to look at those 2 things for where she stands on public education. Because this isn't about R or D. This truly is about the E. And we have to vote for those who will support, protect, and strengthen public education for our students.
Lisa Morgan, that is just a wonderful note to end on today, and for me to extend my thanks for your being here and for everything you do as GAE president. I am thinking that as I'm closing out, you will put your cell phone number and contact info in the chat, because I know you have an open contact me policy. And so if your question or wasn't answered, or you have additional thoughts you want to share with Lisa or ask her, I know that please reach out, and Lisa will go through and you know, this is a member-driven organization, so we need to all be in the know, literally and figuratively, about what is going on. And as it is 12:30, I'm going to share very, very briefly, so I can close us out, that the Lunch Bunch, as I mentioned at the onset meets the first Wednesday of the month. So something equally scary, especially in this charged time, we'll be talking about artificial intelligence and NEA's artificial intelligence policy. So spread the word there. It is 12:31. Thank you so much for all you have done and are doing for public education. And thank you for being a GAE member. Again, Lisa, thank you so much, and see you all next month, I hope. Be safe, be well. Thank you.
Thank you.